Welcome to Hhcc's 2015 Tip Call for Projects weekly Q&A session. This is the fifth of our sessions on November 17th, 2014. My name is David Wardlow, Program Manager here at Hhjcc, and we're going to walk through a couple of slides today, get everybody up to speed with current events, and then get into a Q&A session. It looks like we've been joined by about 16 folks today on the call or on our webinar. And we'll see, I'm looking for a couple more folks to join us as we go through the rest of our presentation. So again, thank you all for joining us. We'll go ahead and get started. Again, we'll cover the upcoming schedule of Q&A sessions. We do have one of our sessions to adjust, and then we'll go through what's been posted to our website. The application is available at this time, and then we'll get into some Q&A. I've got a couple of questions already queued up that I think have come from a couple of different directions. We'll try to answer those first and then open it up. Again, if y'all aren't familiar with the interface, you can type in your questions in the question portion. There's a box there that you can send a question in to the moderator, or you can always raise your hand in the attendee interface, and when we get to the Q&A session, we'll unmute your mic and you can verbally ask your question. Again, we're having these weekly through the duration of our call for projects, and we're going to adjust this in just a moment to extend the application period. But again, these sessions are allowed to allow us to discuss issues and updates related to the call for projects, and hopefully answer questions that some of y'all might have and others might be asking as well in a consolidated format. Try to reach as many people as possible with one shot. Again, these sessions are held Mondays at 2 p.m. unless stated otherwise, and we do have one more session we need to move to a Tuesday, the December 8th. Unfortunately, that was the time we were able to get studio time for a Mobility Now episode that will be airing, I guess, in the new year. So we need to move that session to Tuesday, December 9th. Hope y'all will still be able to join us. 2 p.m. is still the time, so again, December 8th will not be a webinar. We'll be updating the schedule in the GoToWebinar announcement to reflect this and our deadline extension. So again, we'll be holding these webinars each Monday, except for December 9th, through the duration of the application period. The website is available, and again, all of these recordings are posted. There's a link, I'll walk you through the website in just a moment, to the YouTube channel where all of these weekly Q&A sessions are available. Again, the deadline will be extended to, the application deadline will be extended to Monday, January 12th. And again, we did note here that the deadline for assistance from Hhjcc has not been moved out. The 4 weeks is only 1 week to December 1st, but that's to make sure that during the holiday period we can make sure Hhjcc staff are prepared and adequately able to respond to everybody's inquiries and get you the information you need in enough time to complete your applications. So if you have any questions or issues with that, please let us know. But at this point, most folks should know what projects they're going to be completing or they're going to be submitting to the call. And for that assistance, again, we don't need the whole application. You don't have to hit submit. We want the intro section that gives you the need and purpose, the proposed improvement information so we know what we're talking about, and the location information. There's a section where you can upload a GIS file or a map, and once we have that information, we know what type of project we're talking about. We can perform the analysis or have a discussion with you about what information we can provide to you. Again, the schedule bumps out a little bit in the first part of the calendar year, but we are still going to be targeting a May approval from the Policy Council for these funding commitments. As always, stay tuned. Again, the website is hhcc.com/TAQ/tip. I will let you know, I think our web server needs that www in front of it. If you leave that off and you're just typing it in, it won't actually go to the full address if you try to type it in. The redirects, for some reason, aren't set up that way. It's something I need to check with our web folks. Again, email, best address to use is that tip at hhcc.com address. That'll make sure that other folks can see it as well, and we can get you as timely a response as possible. But you can always contact me directly. My email address is given there, david.wardlow@hhcc.com, and my phone number as well. And as usual, any questions or support you need from TxDOT, Catherine McCrite is the contact at the Houston District, and she can coordinate the response from TxDOT, whether it's a letter of support or a question about environmental documentation or something along those lines. She can provide you with the first level of assistance. With that, one question that has come up from a couple of different directions has been in regards to transit vehicle acquisition. I know there's a demand for transit services throughout our region, which is good. And the question is, should those requests come through the tip call or through another program? And the general response is they should come through our existing programs here at HGSGAC. There's 3 existing programs to assist with transit vehicle acquisition or program expansion. They're listed here. If we're talking about replacement of vehicles, right, they're getting a little old, they're not quite as clean as they otherwise might be, or fuel efficient. The Clean Vehicles program is in place and funded to provide that assistance. If we're talking about an expansion of existing service, we're going to maybe decrease the headway so we can provide more service or add an additional vehicle to provide a little additional capacity. Then the fleet expansion program is the vehicle to do that. All of these have ongoing requests for proposals out on the street and open. And then again, with new services, we have the Pilot Transit Services program. And the reason that we have this listed, again, it is not really to straight off the bat procure vehicles. As for new services, HJC's position is that we want folks to try before they buy, so to speak. And the Pilot Transit program is designed to provide some assistance with a full turnkey approach. So the cost of the vehicles, providing that that fleet is included in the price from the service provider. And then once we know we have a viable service, we can then look at either through the pilot program or some of the other 2 programs, providing some assistance to potentially capitalize or expand that to reach additional users. I know there are a couple of folks that had asked that question, so if there are any follow-ups to that, I'd be happy to take those now, or if there are certain circumstances that seem to not fit within that, by all means send us an email. Let us know that you have a concern and want to talk through a particular circumstance, and we can go from there. Now I'm going to go over to our website and just make sure everybody knows how to access it and get to the tip page. Again, from our main hhcc.com website. Let's just double check and see if that works. Okay, that redirect does work pretty well. You can go to the mobility section, and if you scroll down, I know there's a lot of options here. You'll see the Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP. This is our main landing page for the TIP. It has the interface for providing public comments, including our TIP call for projects, and of course amendments to the current 2015 to 18 TIP, the previous TIP, and our federally required reporting. And again, just to highlight, we've got some project development resources from previous activities here at HSGAC that may be helpful to y'all. If we go into TIP Call for Projects page, again, this was updated last week to have a little bit more information, some background from folks that are used to seeing a little bit more of a notice of funding availability. This hopefully provides a little bit more of that information to you. Provides a summary, provides us links to the RTP and the goals for the overall transportation investments here in the region. And then we have the link to the pre-application form, which is where you would start your application. And we walked through this, I believe, in session number 2 or 3. And if you have any questions beyond that, you can let us know. Again, once you fill out the pre-application form, your credentials and a link to complete the remainder of the application will be emailed to you. And as I was talking about, we have links to the application workshop that was conducted back in the beginning of October and our weekly Q&A webinar. You can register for the Q&A series if you want to forward that link to other folks that may be interested in participating. They just punch in the basic information and they'll receive the links to participate and add the calendar of events to their Outlook. And you can also watch all of the webinars up through last week's. We'll get today's up there hopefully by the later today, if not in the morning. And again, I noticed that our application deadline has been extended. We'll be updating our website to reflect that later today. Have a little bit of information on eligibility for agencies that may not be as familiar with our process. The funds that are going to be assigned through this call for projects, what type of non-federal or state funding will be required, basic overview of the project evaluation process, and then we get into the application materials. Still working with our modeling folks to finish up a couple of these, but for the emissions reductions, we'll be getting those up hopefully in the next day or so. If you have any questions about that, please let us know. Again, the emissions process is really just a continuation of the delay analysis. It's just applying a different multiplier to it, essentially. So that's it should be very straightforward application to provide that piece of your application. Can we have the Transportation Development Credit application for folks that may be interested in securing TDCs, along with the TDC policy? We will also be uploading later today our travel demand model network volumes for those of you particularly with operational treatments, intersection improvements, overpasses, that kind of thing, where the travel demand model doesn't particularly do a good job of estimating the delay benefits your project may have. Then the volumes within that model network be helpful for you in inputting those into a microsimulation model like Synchro or something like that. And with that, that's our website. And we will see if we have any questions. I see one that's been posted here, and I will bring up our Q&A thing here just to try to... Oh, copy and paste does not work. Okay, how do we request and schedule Hhjcc assistance? Again, this is identified in the application. Once you've completed the need and purpose and description section of your application, along with the GIS or map, then you send us an email. Not tip-o, tip@hhcc.com. And again, the areas that we need to perform the analysis are going to be bike ped, livable centers, and ITS projects. And then the other areas that we can provide some assistance are going to be travel demand model for added capacity projects, and crash data for safety improvements or those major investments. All right. I don't see anybody's hand up. Again, if you have a question and you want to ask it verbally instead of typing it in, you can always raise your hand in the interface, and we will unmute you, and you can ask your question verbally. There's a question here about where do we get the crash data. Again, you would just ask for some assistance with that in the email, and Jeff Kaufman will get in touch with you to get you the appropriate information. What we'll basically do is get you all of the crashes within that corridor or within the influence area of the project, and direct you to the TxDOT resources for how to whittle that down to really the crashes that are applicable to the project type. For example, if you're doing an intersection treatment and the crash is really not intersection related, that's not going to be a data point that will go into the analysis for the benefit purposes. But again, it all starts with this process. Fill in your need and purpose description along with a GIS and or map, and then send us an email asking for assistance. I've got an added capacity project. Its project ID is 30045. Please let us know if you have any questions. And then I have a very specific question here on what project type particular proposal should be submitted as, and it's from Metro. Shade, I'll take that offline and we'll get back to you and chat about that in a little bit. The general approach is, again, the criterion for going into that other investment category is, are you eligible for the use of a categorical exclusion? A. And B, are you exempt from conformity? And the question that you're looking at here, which is access to a park and ride from an HOV facility, we'd have to probably have a little consultation with our federal friends on whether that change in access might be a conformity issue or not. That's probably one of those that doesn't neatly fall within the normal conformity boxes. Other than that, it's really down to the environmental process that's necessary for the project, and again, its conformity status. Well, I will take the lack of questions at this point to be that everybody's busy trying to create their applications online, and fortunately hasn't hit any hard walls with completing that. And I guess in the next couple of weeks we'll get a lot of questions about how to complete particular sections of the application. And we'll give folks just a minute to see if there are any other questions. All right, I see one more question on regarding the uploading of attachments to the web interface. Again, the system only takes one attachment per upload, so you can't attach multiple items. If you need to attach multiple files, a zip file is fine. Our system won't kick that out. So that's probably the easiest way, to just bundle everything up into a zip file and attach that. I'll work with our IT guys to make sure that it'll accept a zip file as well. Beyond that, hopefully you can use one or the other. We would prefer, again, GIS. A map package would be great. That include the actual layout and the data itself. Otherwise, a zip file is fine. I am going to show you guys exactly what you'll get for the volume information. I'm hoping most of y'all have some type of GIS package. We have bundled this data up in a layer file, a layer package. It's accessible for anybody that has Esri's ArcMap or ArcGIS package, because it's version 9.3.1 and above. If you happen to have something older than that, by all means, just send us a note saying, hey, I can't use the data you've got. Can you send it to me another way? And we'll make sure that we can get it to you. This is just real convenient because it's one file that you can... let me get this thing over to the table of contents. So when we drop it in, you'll see it gives you the multi-year volumes and then the node files. So that'll help in knowing which direction a volume happens to be going. So for example, let's pick up this section of Eldridge, and you'll get the total 15, 18, 25, and 2040 volumes, lineage information for those years, so you can compare that to the volumes, and the directional volumes as well, so you can see the split outs. Of course, that's important for those intersections. And I would note it does give you the A node and the B node, so you know which direction the count is operating, right? So if we go to this intersection here, let's go with the node file. We know that node is 21068. So when we go back into the layer file, we can see the B node is in that direction. So the A direction is south and the B direction is north. So the AB is southbound and the BA is northbound in this case. And just the way the model is constructed, that's not consistent. So that's why we're giving you both the layer file and the node file, so you can kind of see a little more, hopefully easily, which direction everything runs. And we'll be posting this later today. I have to package up a little disclaimer for everybody, since we don't normally publish quite this much data quite in this manner, so we want to make sure that it's properly disclosed. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions, and nobody's hand is raised. So this is a pretty short session today. I guess I'll plan on having a longer Q&A webinar next week. Thank you all for joining us. At this point, I'll go ahead and close the webinar. Thanks.